I would say the hardest player in the NBA to guard is probably Shai.
Guy that I probably struggle with a lot was probably Shai.
Shai? Hey, Gardner.
Man, the way these dudes talk about guarding Shai, you already know he's on pace for the third straight year averaging 30. Yet no MVP.
Stat stuffer, great season. His team is number one. Nobody expected him to be number one. I thought Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was going to win it by far.
So how did we end up here? How does one of the league's most unguardable stars, a player who makes all defensive team members look like they're stuck in quicksand, still not have the respect he deserves? You know what the go-to criticism of Shai is? He gets a soft whistle. People love to say he racks up points at the line like free throws are carrying his game. But let's set the record straight. Yes, Shai knows how to draw contact. But what good player doesn't? He's not out here flopping or throwing his arms on every drive. He's using angles. The man knows geometry. It's calculated. And when the refs don't blow the whistle, that's where bro's game really shines. The truth is, Shai's got more ways to score than most defenders can even keep up with. But to understand why players fear him, why he's knocking on the MVP door, and why he still doesn't have a key to get in, we need to rewind. Before Shai Gilgeous-Alexander became the face of the Thunder and the player NBA defenders dread seeing on the schedule, he was just another under-recruited kid trying to make it out of Ontario, Canada. Even at Kentucky, Shai wasn't supposed to be that guy. He wasn't a five-star recruit. He wasn't the player scouts were buzzing about. But then,
I think he was still like top 50 or whatever, but he was like the lowest ranked out of all the guys. And we go and we play pickup. And I'm like, yo, I think he's going to be the best player on the team. I truly believed that at the time. And then like midway through the season, he ends up taking the starting spot. And now he's an MVP candidate.
How many guys can say they came in as an afterthought and left as the clear best player? That steady rise is the same story you'll hear over and over again with Shai. Whether it's Kentucky, the league, or wherever he's playing, he just keeps proving people wrong. Just ask him.
47 games for you with at least 30. How are you just so consistent, like the Tide, night in and night out?
My whole life is consistent. From what I eat, to what I sleep, to my recovery, to my loved ones, everything's consistent, and it's a routine for me at this point.
Looking inside, the pass, jump shot is up, it's good! SGA just took it right from him. How about Shai came over and swatted it away? Just a menace on the defensive end. This brother went dancing on dudes, dancing on him. SGA standing on business.
Shai is nice.
Shai a rock star. He's incredible. There's no other word for him.
Probing, piercing, spinning, hanging for the lead, and SGA knocks it down.
Everything I do.
But seriously, that consistency, it's been the foundation of everything that came next. Shai's rise at Kentucky put him on the map. But in the NBA, the map doesn't matter. What matters is what you do when you get there. And Shai wasted no time proving he belonged. From the moment he stepped on that court, Shai played with a poise that had veterans turning their heads.
For a rookie to come in and attack with confidence the way he did, that shows you what he's about.
And what Shai was about became crystal clear after a draft day trade sent him to OKC in 2019. It wasn't just a new team, it was a new role. And with Professor Chris Paul joining him in the backcourt, Shai was about to learn from one of the greatest floor generals of all time.
Like the way Shai uses his offhand is crazy. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of plays. Like we'll be in a timeout and I'll be like, look, Shai, when I used to go by people, this is the play that I would run. So now we're going to run it for you. You know what I mean? So his ability to get to the rim and his ability to draw fouls and all that, it's been cool to see.
But Shai and Chris didn't just have that regular rookie-vet relationship. Those boys were tight, and that chemistry showed on the court. With CP, the undisputed king of the little tykes in his ear, Shai had no choice but to improve. How to see the floor, control the pace, and close games. SGA was on the receiving end of a true masterclass from the point guard. So when the Thunder shocked the league by making the playoffs that year, it wasn't just CP3 carrying them. Shai had officially turned the corner. He was ready to lead.
Dort sets a screen on Jeff Green for Paul. Harden switches on to him. Paul gets to the bucket for the lead. Gilgeous-Alexander got it! The Thunder lead by 1 with 13.8 to go.
But the Thunder's playoff run wasn't just a surprise. It was a preview of what was coming. With Chris Paul moving on after that season, OKC was officially Shai's team.
Series with Houston. Gilgeous-Alexander sidestep through it. Horford coming over to set the screen. Got to keep an eye on him in the three-point land, but it's...
Roby set a good screen. SGA again, matched up on Green, hangs in the air long enough.
And as the roster got younger and the expectations dropped, Shai's game kept rising. He wasn't just putting up numbers. He was making it impossible to ignore him. Year after year, Shai added to his bag. A step-back jumper here, an unblockable floater there. Defenders were getting cooked nightly. Fast forward to this season, and Shai isn't just a star. He's a centerpiece of a true contender. The Thunder are rolling, and Shai is leading the charge with one of the most dominant stretches in NBA history. SGA joins a club so exclusive it's basically VIP seating in NBA history. Harden, Steph, Jordan, and now Shai. 3 of those guys won MVPs that season, so again, why hasn't he? We're talking about a dude averaging 31 points on 52% shooting, playing 2 ways, and making it look easy. Is this not what MVPs are made of? I mean, come on. It's like watching the best hooper at the gym dominate every run, but nobody's picking him up to run the next game. What are we doing? Look at this. You put Shai's numbers next to prime MJ, and they don't just hold up. They jump off the page. 30 a game, top-tier efficiency, and elite defense. And yet, no MVP. No major recognition. What are we even doing here? This stat comparison doesn't just make a case for Shai. It highlights how absurd it is that he's not more decorated. This is what it takes to get noticed. What more does Shai have to prove? He's leading one of the youngest teams in the league to the best record in the Western Conference. Their 7-foot top 2 draft pick center isn't even playing. The Thunder's success starts and ends with SGA. And it's not just about the numbers. It's about the impact. Every big play, clutch shot, defensive stop, it all's running through Shai. So again, where's the hardware?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander should be the NBA MVP. Don't give me that look, Shannon.
Last year, he was 5th in MVP voting, despite leading OKC to their best season in years. This year, he's doing even more. But will it finally be enough to break through? For years, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been playing at an MVP level. But now, even his peers in the media are starting to say it out loud. When one of your biggest competitors in the West, Anthony Edwards, calls you MVP, that's saying something. 31 a night, elite efficiency, lockdown defense, and most importantly, wins. The Thunder are sitting at the top of the West. No one's really close, and it's all because of Shai. And here's the kicker. Shai is eligible for a 4-year Supermax extension this summer, worth nearly $300 million. By 2030, he could become the first player in NBA history to earn a whopper $80 million salary in a single season. But to lock that in, the playoffs are where legends are made. Critics will point to playoffs of the past, where Shai struggled to adjust when the calls weren't coming. But this season, bro looks different. This looks like the kind of player who can lead his team through the trenches of a playoff basketball game. Get the bucket when it's been 4 minutes since your team scored. And it's moments like these that separate him from the rest. When the game's on the line, he doesn't just rise to the occasion. That man owns it. The players know it. The media's starting to know it. And if Shai keeps this up, the voters might have no choice. He's not just knocking on the MVP door anymore. He's breaking it down. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is doing what only a handful of players in NBA history have ever done. 30 a night, top 5 in steals, 50% from the field, and leading the Thunder to the best record in the West. This is generational. And speaking of generational talent, fellas, I know some of y'all not out here looking generational, and it's a damn shame because you could be with some Evan Alexander grooming. From beard care that would make James Harden jealous to skincare smoother than Shai's sidestep jumper. Evan Alexander is the GOAT of men's grooming. Make sure you guys are checking them out using that promo code hoop_plug_ for 20% off. So what's next for Shai? An MVP, a deep playoff run, a championship? Whatever it is, one thing's for sure. He's not just part of the conversation anymore. He is it. The engine for the no doubt about it best team in the West. The man averaging 30 for the 3rd straight year. There's no one else doing stuff like Shai.